Hello everyone. Now you will hear a brief summary of the film The Wonderful Boy. Enjoy the show. When Sean was 9 years old, his mother was murdered right in front of him. The guy has grown up and is now in high school. He trains a lot, and for some reason, he is also studying chemistry. In the subway, seeing an aggressive homeless man, the young man wanted to leave the car as quickly as possible. Sean lives with his father, Terry. The man was glad to learn that his estranged son was going to a party with a friend. It's surprising that he even has a friend. Terry himself visited his wife's grave and talked about how things are going with Sean. He never came to terms with the loss, just like Sean did. Instead of going to the party, he changed clothes and wandered into a crime-ridden part of the city. The guy silently watched as the dealer sold a dose to a woman who had come here with a teenage girl. The thugs noticed Sean and started to pressure him. They knocked the guy to the ground and started beating him up. But suddenly Sean fought back. After beating off his attackers, the schoolboy grabbed a gun and aimed it at the thugs. The dealer tried to grab his gun, but instead he got a bullet. Detective Teresa Rhyme recently got a promotion. The woman intends to lock up the notorious scoundrel. But Terry is about to make a deal with the prosecutor. The criminal threatens that as soon as he gets out, he'll come after her and her little son. Teresa met her new partner, Gary, who is a chauvinist and a racist. And also, Gary, if you touch me, I'll kill you.
Setting boundaries. That makes sense.
Sean keeps dropping by this police station. He's friends with the chief, Bill Baldwin. In the evening, Teresa noticed a strange guy and tried to find out what he was doing here. The boy ran away, and Teresa found out that he was interested in a toxin called tricycloron. Teresa Osa saw that her car tire was flat and tried to change it. Sean silently watched her, and when the woman noticed him, he offered to help.
You're stronger than you seem. Is that a compliment?
No.
As a thank you, Teresa offered to give Sean a ride, but he, as usual, went down to the subway. When Terry came home with the groceries, he heard Sean in the basement pounding on a punching bag. The guy got so into it that he almost hit his dad. Terry used to box as well. He's hoping to find common interests with his son, but it's not really working out. It's no surprise, because when Sean was little, his father beat him badly. Just like his mom, Terry was quite the jerk. In the station, there's a body of the dead dealer. Gary is sure that he was the one who took down the thug, so there's nothing to investigate here. Teresa asked her colleague to tell her about that strange guy. When Sean saw his mom get killed, the boy started coming to the station all the time and looking at pictures of criminals. It's definitely against the rules, but Chief Bill lets him do it.
And I think the boy is too young for you, Detective. You're a pervert.
Teresa offered her help to Sean. She's a good detective. When the guy was alone, he called someone from a new phone and asked to get him a girl. He called Joe, the pimp, who mistreats his sick worker. The scoundrel stumbled out onto the street and dragged himself to the car. At that moment, Sean attacked him. The bald thug fought back and beat up the schoolboy. Then he pulled a bat out of the trunk. At that moment, Sean armed himself with a telescopic baton. With her help, he knocked the pimp down. The thug backed off and ordered the girl to go home. According to him, the hero didn't save the poor girl, but only made things worse. He's going to come back and beat her to death. Hearing this, Sean pulled out the dealer's gun and shot the bald bastard. At home, the schoolboy treated his wounds and remembered how he ended up in the police station after his mother's murder. In the morning, Teresa interrogated the prostitute, but Lizzie couldn't describe the killer. He was dressed all in black and it was dark outside. And in general, Joe was a scumbag. He had already killed one young worker before. Lizzie was next in line, so it's unlikely anyone will help the investigation. That stranger is a real hero, not a criminal. Teresa found out that Terry Chalzo will most likely be released, and because of this case, her marriage fell apart. Sean keeps training hard at the gym to always stay in shape. In the morgue, Teresa remembered the tricycloron and learned from the coroners what it was. It's a pretty rare poison that irritates the muscular system. The muscles swell and suffocate the person, so the victim is killing their own body, not the poison. Moreover, tricyclaron is very difficult to detect. Terry is trying to be a good father. He even watches cooking shows. Sean puts on amazing shows to treat his killer son to a delicious dinner. Sean struggles to cope with violence in society, especially towards women and children. Teresa invited the kid to have lunch together. She studied Sean's case and wants to get to know him better. The woman admitted that her son lives with her ex-husband because she was always missing from work. In the restaurant, a rude salesman called Teresa a pushy bitch in Chinese. "Choke on it, you ugly freak," the wife added. "A ladle." Sean knows Chinese and threatened to put a bullet in both their heads if they didn't watch their language. Unfortunately, Teresa didn't find anything new in his case. It looks like a regular robbery. 9 years have passed. It's time for the young man to start living a normal life. However, Sean won't stop until he finds the killer. Moreover, he doesn't believe in justice. Terry Chalzo is also set to be released under the Witness Protection Program, but he killed 2 people. Teresa asked Sean directly why he needed the triceleron, and the schoolboy replied that he was just writing a paper on the history of poisons. Today, the whole precinct is seeing off the chief into retirement. Teresa told her partner that both recent victims, the dealer and the pimp, were somewhere involved with killers. She tends to think that the same person killed them both. The woman decided to talk to the chief about Sean. Baldwin asked Teresa to leave the guy alone. His head is already a mess, he doesn't need any more coddling. Drunk cops took the subway home. Suddenly, a female passenger rushed into the car and asked to break up 2 fighting men. That's that crazy homeless guy who's always bothering women. Now he's found himself a new victim to torment. Sean entered the car in his pajamas. Right before the attack, he painted his face with war paint and put on brass knuckles. He approached the thug, and he started throwing punches. Taking down this pig isn't that easy. But the drunk ended up on the floor and started begging to stop getting hit. But Sean didn't stop. He turned the thug's face into a mess and only ran out of the car when the police arrived. Teresa went after the Night Avenger, but she couldn't catch him. At home, Sean's father was waiting for him. He found out that his son is injecting testosterone and taking steroids. Terry lost his temper. He's curious about what Sean does at night and why he's always beaten up. But he didn't get an answer. Before beating up the homeless guy, the Avenger asked the Chinese family to leave the car, so he speaks Chinese. Sean dreamed that Teresa arrested him, but actually, it was his father who woke him up. Today is Sean's birthday, and Terry planned a surprise for him. He took his son to a cafe where he used to have lunch with his wife before Sean was born. After that attack, Terry moved with his son to a safer neighborhood. The owner of the establishment called the man by his old nickname, Rock. Like Rocky Balboa, he was quite the fighter and hung out with a bad crowd. Next, they went to the local gym to watch a kickboxing tournament. At the end of the day, Terry took Sean to the place where his wife was killed. The man told his son that his mom died that day, but not himself. Sean has to keep living, and he remembers what a scoundrel he used to be, how much pain he caused Sean and his late wife. But he started a new life and wants his son to do the same. Teresa came to Baldwin's home to talk about Sean again. The man remembered how he first saw the boy. Baldwin asked him to look at the photos of the criminals, and the boy immediately pointed to one picture. There he is, the killer of my mom. But his father Terry started to deny it. Even though the boy looked at him like he was crazy, Terry still convinced his son to say that he was mistaken. Baldwin heard the name of that criminal again after 9 years. This is Terry Chotsu, the scoundrel that Teresa is planning to put behind bars. When his name came up in the newspapers, Sean became almost obsessed. He is 100% sure that it was Terry who killed his mom. And Sean also thinks that his father betrayed him. The schoolboy found the detective while she was spending time with her son. Teresa is now wary of him. She doesn't want to let her son near the suspect. But Sean came just to say that he's starting a new life. Now, everything will change. The guy finally showed up at the party. Teresa started keeping an eye on him, even though she's not sure if she's doing the right thing. His partner called and reported that Charles got only 2 years. And then there's the Witness Protection Program. At the party, Sean met a cute girl from his school. She became curious about where the schoolboy got those bruises.
I got into a fight with a pimp, and he hit me with a baseball bat. You're weird.
A school bully started bothering the girl, who used to pick on the blonde. He's kind of her boyfriend, but that doesn't make the girl happy. Memories flooded over Sean. He remembered how, before attacking his mom, the killer referred to his father as a rock. So, he knew him. Right then, he saw the scoundrel grab the blonde's hair. Sean brutally beat up the bully, but that wasn't enough for the Avenger. He grabbed a poker and started hitting the kid, internal organs. Those who tried to stop him also got hurt. Sean took the car keys from his friend and drove off somewhere. Teresa followed him. Finally, Sean clearly remembered what happened that night. Terry owed a decent amount of money. When it was time to pay back the money, the thug killed his mom. And his father didn't help him at all. When Terry got home, he thought a burglar had broken in here. A man called 911, but then he found his son in the basement. The boy had broken into the police station before that and found a photo of them together with Terry. Terry killed his mother for money because he received a decent amount from her insurance and was able to pay Terry. But Terry said that was not the case because his son did not identify Terry from the photograph. Right now he's making a mistake too. Sean's version is complete nonsense. Does he really think his dad is such a monster?
I'm sorry, but I can't believe you...
Teresa walked into the house. Sean didn't run away and told the detective that his dad killed his mom along with Terry Chouts to get the insurance payout. His body is lying in the basement. Sean asked for help and Teresa helped him avoid punishment by throwing the gun into the river. Some robber just burst in on them. The guy wrote a letter to Chouts where he shared his story. He forgave the criminal for what he did to his mom. But he needs to know if his dad was an accomplice in Child's murder. He doesn't even need to write anything. Sean sent him 2 stamps. The criminal has to stick a black stamp on the envelope if the father is guilty, and a red one if he's not guilty. Childs licked one of the stamps and stuck it on the envelope. After a while, the inmate started to feel bad. He started to choke badly, and soon died from the effects of the poison that had been applied to the stamp, especially after he received the letter with the red stamp.